Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Monday to you all. I hope that you had a fantastic weekend and that you are having a fantastic day on this Monday. I truly hope that you're able to start the day off well and just really jump into it and feel good about this day and this upcoming week. Just so you know, this week, a brand new week, we're going to be talking about New Year, same you, new mood. And today, Monday, we're going to be specifically talking about no, you don't have to change drastically. But before we jump into the episode, again, happy Monday. If you don't know, I absolutely love Mondays because they offer you an opportunity to restart right then and there, because the new week brings new opportunities, new exciting changes, and a fresh perspective on things that can go well or things that can change or things that can develop, and that's why I like to encourage people to go into Mondays being positive, not negative, not being like, ugh, I hate Mondays. I honestly think that if you do hate Mondays so much, you should figure out what the specific reason is. I highly doubt that the actual reason is just like a generalization of hating Mondays. I'm sure it has to do with something that you have to do at the top of the week, or the feeling of being overwhelmed by maybe your job or certain tasks that you have to do that are upcoming. So I'd encourage you to take some time to look into that, but that's something we should definitely discuss in the future. But yeah, I wanted to say happy Monday and share that with you. If you're having a hard day, I always encourage everyone to do the 5-minute reset, which is to take at least 5 minutes to reset, reboot, restart your day right then and there. The 5-minute reset is also one of those fantastic things you can do to just draw a line in the sand, even if it's in the middle of your day, and then be like, you know what, I am just going to restart right now in the middle of the day and feel positive and look forward to the rest of the day and everything else I could get done, and not let the rest of the day, the former part of the day, drag me down. During the 5-minute reset, you also have the opportunity to take a break from any issues or burdens that are really weighing you down and causing you to feel overwhelmed and stressed. You could also take some time to come up with a resolution for any problems or issues that you are dealing with, either alone or with someone else. And then I always encourage everyone to come up with a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, big, small, medium size, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're grateful that your new planner finally came in for 2021. I know a lot of people personally that said they got behind in getting a new calendar or agenda or journal or whatever it is for this year. So maybe you're excited about that. Maybe you are excited about, following someone new on social media. Social media can be such a bear sometimes. It can be so overwhelming, and it could be so hurtful and painful and stressful. But I do find that there could be little sparks of hope and joy, especially if you find someone fantastic to follow that makes you feel good and just kind of creates a bright spot in your day when you go and check in on whatever they're posting every now and again or whenever. So that could be something you're grateful for. Maybe you're grateful that you finally had time to clean up your house this weekend so you feel more organized and less stressed. That was definitely me. Or maybe you're grateful that you were able to have a lot of downtime this weekend so you're able to recover and rest and you feel even more prepared for this upcoming week. So whatever it is you can be grateful for, you can literally be grateful for anything, which is fantastic. And then last but not least, before you end your 5-minute reset, make sure that you're feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day, because hopefully coming up with your gratitude list and just reflecting on all the positives and the blessings that are in your life, you will be able to shift and change your mindset and perspective and not focus so hardly on the negative things, which will not help you have a good day. Honestly, you'll be able to get through those negative things a lot easier if you focus more in on the positive. However, and that's not 100% kind of thing. You can even live with probably 75 or 80. Focusing on the positive will still help you get through your life. I like to stay up at 90, 92%. That's my sweet spot. But anyway, I do hope that on this Monday you actually are having a fantastic day. Like I said at the top of the show, this week we are talking about New Year, same you, new mood. And today, Monday, we are going to be talking about no, you don't have to change drastically. So let's just jump right into it. It's a new year, which brings a new mood. I feel like every single year people are like, I just feel new and different. I have a new mood, new vibes, just feeling it all, which is fantastic. But that doesn't mean that there has to be a new you to go along with it. Absolutely not. I do not think that it is an absolute requirement. New year, new you isn't a bad thing. I want to make sure I mention that up front. Like, it's just not. I'm not against it. But it's not something I think everyone needs to live by, especially since some goals and plans extend year to year and don't require much change. So, definitely want to make sure it's very crystal clear. I am not against new year, new you. For many years, I lived out the whole new year, new you. I know I'm going to butcher that so many times. Get ready for that. But I found recently, within the last year, that you don't have to continue to transform every single thing about yourself all the time. We are already constantly changing as time goes on. We are continually growing and learning and becoming our best selves, but we don't need to make so many forced on purpose changes all the time, because it kind of gets in the way of the changes that we're already making. We're already trying to see growth and fruit from. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's helpful personally. I think sometimes you might want to start fresh and new. There are definitely going to be times in your life where that will be really helpful, really important, and it'll make you just feel so much less stressed or weighed down depending upon what you went through previously. However, again, I do not think it's something that you have to do absolutely every single year. That's my personal opinion though. And honestly, and obviously, you can do whatever you want, right? But it's just me trying to explain to you why I don't think you should do it every single year. Because what if things are just going well for you? What if things are just fine? You don't need to make more drastic changes just for the sake of doing it. You definitely don't. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. But, a lot of goals will go from year to year to year, and you're just continuing to improve on those. You don't necessarily need to throw in some brand new things or just drastically change everything because that's the thing to do. The new year to me feels like an ultimate Monday in a good way. If you listen to the very top of this episode, you heard how I was speaking about how I love Mondays. I do. They give you just a fresh start every single week, and you just feel good and ready and excited to take on the week and that day, and it just feels good to me. I know a lot of people have that negative feeling of Monday, but I feel really positive. I love Mondays so much. There's definitely so much opportunity for new opportunities, new experiences, and new mindsets. And while I believe in having that type of reset in your life, I don't think that resetting means you have to change everything. You are just starting again or making a couple tweaks, right? There's a difference between like a new year, a new you, like changing everything about yourself, rather than having a new year, making some adjustments to your goals, maybe adding a couple new goals in there, and then just continuing on, right? I know it doesn't sound as exciting, and it's a little more lackluster, but I feel like that is like the real thing that we should all be doing and trying and focusing on. I hope that makes sense. I understand that, because let's just take a break for a second. I am not saying, I didn't think going into this I was going to confuse anyone. I really hope I didn't. Please let me know if I did. There is a strong difference between changing everything about yourself, trying to look head to toe in your work life, in your personal life, with your friends, all your relationships, in regards to your hobbies, how you exercise, how you eat, how you talk to people, all of these things, maybe in mental health as well, emotional stuff. There's a difference between trying to change everything, and then there's a difference between literally picking like 2 or 3 of those things and not even changing it all, just really being like, how can I tweak this a bit to make it serve me better, right? So for example, at the top of the year, let's say I was like, okay, it would be either me like deciding, okay, I've been doing therapy for a while and let me just change everything. Let me just get a new therapist. Let me just like figure out a new way to get through all the struggles and problems that I've been dealing with most of my life, and just try something new and different and see how it goes. Compared to what I actually did, which was continue with my same therapist because it's been going well, and I don't need to wait for the new year to make a decision on whether or not I would stay with my current therapist. No, if it wasn't working out earlier or later, then that's when you make that decision, obviously. But more for me, I was like, okay, this relationship is going well with my therapist. We're learning stuff. However, we did discuss, like, do we need to meet as often? Because currently we meet every single week, And it's like, okay, do we need to pull back? Maybe we should try going like every other week and just see how that feels. Also, let's throw in a book to read and see if that resonates with you and will help with your continuous healing and the work that we're doing here. Do you see the difference? It's like sweeping everything out. It's as if you want to just like clear out your junk closet and be like, okay, I'm done. Let's just like figure out new stuff to put in here. As opposed to, okay, let's take a look. Maybe we'll just like organize things a little bit better and see if that will help us be more productive and, be our best selves even more. Hopefully that was clear. But yeah, that's what I mean. You don't necessarily need to change everything about yourself, just make a few different switches. And so jumping back into my episode notes, that wasn't even in my notes. I just felt the need to really like explain it more so you guys aren't like, but maybe you got it. And if you did, then it's just really on me being like too over-explanatory. I don't even know if that's a word, but we just made it up here. Congrats, guys. So despite what a lot of people may be telling you or sharing online, because social media is a big part of many of our lives day in and day out, you can still work on becoming your best self by staying the same. You truly can, because a lot of plans and goals do extend from year to year, just continually graduating up in how much time you spend working on it, or maybe what you're specifically working on, or maybe it's just getting progressively harder and harder, the things that you're learning and growing through and experiencing, right? But you don't need to just like throw those things out the window and start again. You really don't. And maybe all of this makes sense to you. Maybe you're like, Sabrina, I understand. You don't have to change everything about your life at the top of the year, but I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to. I feel like a lot of people think that it's the time to just like throw everything about themselves away and start fresh and new and think that that's going to solve all your problems and your current issues and the things that you're having the most trouble with. And it's just not. It's just not. And I feel like that's a thought process that a lot of people don't speak on, just because it's a new year and you want to have a new you because you are having trouble with so many things in your life doesn't mean that just changing everything about you and entering this new year will make that happen. You have to do a lot of work emotionally, relationally, and you can't like just by trying to throw everything away. It's not like throwing everything away when you move and then starting fresh with new furniture and decor and things like that. It's not the same, But think of it this way. Maybe you're like, okay, it's not like throwing everything away when you move and then moving to a fresh new, brand new house or apartment. It's more of like you're trying to throw everything away in your really old house was built like 60, 70 years ago, and you throw everything away and then you bring in new stuff, but there's still problems with the actual foundation, with the actual structure of the house that you're neglecting to try to fix, right? You just think if you can just empty it and put brand new stuff in there, that it'll make everything better, but it really won't. It won't. It'll help for a little bit and it'll look shiny and new for a while, but you'll still experience some of those same problems because a lot of those problems were related to the foundation of the house, the actual house structure itself, not what was inside of it. So hopefully that resonates with you if you are struggling with that thought process of thinking you need to be brand new at the top of every single year. But one of the biggest things I see as a problem is not giving changes or shifts in your life enough time to truly affect you. Based on an article I read earlier last year, and I've mentioned it in a couple episodes, I don't remember which ones those were, but I believe they had to do with creating habits, which I did talk about for a full week. So if you're interested in that, I encourage you to go back to the archives of the podcast to learn how to create really good habits. But the article that I read earlier this last year, I believe habits aren't actually created until 90 days in. Like, think about that, I believe the actual research says 92 days, but still longer than the traditional 30 days. A lot of people, 30 days to a new habit. And I've actually tested this out myself, continually doing things for 30 days. I don't feel like it does create a very solid habit. It creates like this idea in your mind that, wow, you feel good because you've actually done something for 30 days. But you could honestly like let it go at that point and move on from it. I don't think it actually creates a solid habit in you. Maybe you feel differently, maybe you've had different experiences, but according to this research, it's 92 days. And that does sound like a really reasonable amount of time for you to continually be doing something and to actually have it become a true habit in you that you're like, oh, I need to do this thing every day. And this thing is really helping me. It's really changed my life. It's actually like stuck around and done something, not just like, oh, here and there, like in a new, like just within a month. It's you're definitely deep diving more. And I believe, I just believe that 90 days should be the new perspective of creating a habit. And I encourage you to let me know what you think about that, because 30 days does sound like a long time to do something, but honestly, think about how many times, people are like, wow, the month went by so quickly. It just goes and goes and goes. So really, like, thinking about a whole quarter of a year passing and you doing like this same thing every day or every other day or however often that you're doing it, now that's really something. That's really something to reflect back on and be like, wow, look how much time I actually invested in this thing, and look how it's changing my life and helping me in this, that, and the other, or whatever it's meant to do for whatever habit it is. So let's just say that you started something in October and the new year comes along and you think you need to change it again just because it's a new year, but you are only just getting into the fully formed habit phase, right? This means you should stay the course you are currently on and adjust later once you've given it time to actually make a difference in your life. So even if, despite what I'm telling you about, it really takes more like 3 months to create a habit. Even if you did start something and you went October, November, December, all of those days, and that comes around to the new year, even though you have created that habit, why would you change it? Didn't you put all that work in for 90 days to create the habit? Why would you go and change it now? Like, why did you even start if you weren't going to continue, right? Or was it just supposed to be some sort of temporary thing in your life? Then why were you focusing on it being a habit, right? Why claim something as a habit if you don't really want it to be a habit? If you don't want it to be something that you continue to do through a significant portion of your life? And honestly, 30 days is not a significant portion of your life. Neither is 3 months. I would say a significant portion of your life is at least 6 months or a year, especially if you look back at all the years that you've been here on this earth. Like, think about it. So I don't think that if you spent 3 months trying to create maybe a healthier eating diet or an exercise diet or a routine where you read a book or you go on walks or you invest time in a hobby that you truly love that helps you become stronger, or you go to therapy, or you decide to write letters to your friends, or whatever it is, despite how much effort it took, rather, to get that habit started and do it for 90 days, I don't think you need to change it unless there's something wrong with it, unless it's just not working out for you. But you have to truly ask yourself, is it really working out for you? And if for whatever reason that time period comes along at the top of the year, I encourage you honestly to wait. So if it's a habit or something that you've been engaged in for 3 or 4 months or whatever, and the top of the year starts to creep up and you're like, I want to make goals and resolutions, which I'm not against resolutions. I love resolutions, actually, which we'll probably speak more about later in the week, but I love resolutions. But if you're already engaged in something that you've invested a lot of time in and energy and concern and care, and you are trying to rethink, well, is this actually happening to me? I mean, is this actually helping me? Like, what is happening to me? How is it contributing to your life? I would encourage you actually to wait a week after the new year to really consider changing it. I would say just continue to go through it for another week and then see if the reason that you wanted to make any drastic changes is because of the new year, that feeling, that draw, that, popular opinion of let's just change everything about ourselves because that's what we should do to appease people in our life and make us feel like we're better than we were, I would encourage you to wait till at least a week after the new year and then reconsider, should I stop doing this? Should I stop going to therapy? Should I stop seeing this counselor? Should I stop doing this workout regimen? Should I stop eating healthy in this way? Should I stop walking every day? Should I stop engaging in my hobby with this much time as I've previously been doing and planned out? Like really, because, I feel like it's just the new year is just like this sexy, desirable thing of like, oh, it's so exciting that I get to start over again and be brand new when you're not truly brand new, because you're trying to change everything about yourself. But honestly, the idea of changing so many things about yourself at once, something is liable to fall apart. It just is. Because you take on too many new things at once, you're not going to be able to balance them all. Plus, if there's any learning curve involved in any of those things, that creates even an even bigger problem. You guys, I'm so excited that I'm talking so fast and I can't even articulate properly. But I hope you understand how excited I am about this topic to let you know that you don't have to change that much about yourself just because it's the new year. I'm not against change. I have changed myself often over the years. However, I don't think it has to be at the top of the year. I think it's better when it's not, because then you actually have taken the time to really think it through and make that decision of change. And honestly, sometimes we don't need change. Sometimes we just need to push through and continue to wait for the fruit that will come from us continuing to do the work. That's what I believe. And that's what I think will help you as well. But yeah, so you shouldn't just change course all the time, You should just stay the course and adjust later once you've given it time to actually make a difference in your life. I think you need to really think about that. I think it would help you, to be honest. We always jump for change. I feel like change is a scary thing. It can be a scary thing, especially if it's big changes, life-changing changes, right? But I also think that when things are going well, you're just putting along, maybe not as quick as you want, right? I feel like a lot of times we get impatient and we just want to make change because we think it'll speed it up or it'll be better. Change in that perspective can be really sexy, right? You're like, oh, change. Let's just change it up because you're bored. You don't want to push through. You don't want to be patient. But you should be patient. You should wait. You should push through. And, this episode is as much of a learning lesson for you as it is for me to just continue on. Don't give up in the midst of not being patient, being bored, feeling like things are going all too well when you're used to chaos. That's definitely me. So I just encourage you, give it some thought, give it some time. Don't feel like you have to do the new year, new you. Engage in a new year, same you, new mood. Change your mindset a little bit. Encourage yourself to do some mindful growth. Increase your emotional intelligence. Push yourself a bit in that area. That could be really helpful. I want to end by telling you that you do not have to change just because someone is expecting you to change, or because many people around you or in your community circle are changing. It's not necessary or going to help you create real habits and important changes in your life. It's really not. So in reference to changing because people want you to change, this is the tough thing, because sometimes people mean it from the bottom of their hearts, and maybe it's a good suggestion for them to encourage you to change in this specific way because it will better your life. That's still your decision to make, And there have definitely been instances where someone has given me advice on how I should change this, that, or the other in my life. And sometimes I'll take those suggestions, sometimes I won't, because it's still all up to you. And maybe you're not ready to change yet. Now, there could be a lot of things involved in that. One of the biggest things could be fear, which is something that you will have to work on, because I don't think that you should let fear hold you back. But also maybe you just feel like you just aren't ready. You're still working on what you're working on. You find that to be important. You want to hold it off for a little bit. That's fine. You don't have to do it because you don't have to change just because someone else tells you should change. You need to go at your own pace, your own speed. You need to do what you need to do for you, not for someone else. But if you feel like you want to change because other people around you are changing and you feel left out, then change something small. I would say just don't change anything at all if you really feel like you don't need to change anything. Like, honestly, that would be the adult thing to do, is don't get swept up in the chaos and the sexiness of changing everything and becoming all brand new. No, I would say just stick to the plan that you have if it's working and you are continuing to grow until you actually do need to make a change and shift a little bit. However, if you feel like you want to change something, you're like, I just want to be a part of this a little bit, then give yourself a change in mindset a little bit. Shift your perspective a little bit, or give yourself a little mini challenge. Like, if you can handle it within whatever workload you have in your entire life, I encourage you to just give yourself a challenge. You're like, okay, I haven't read a book in a while. Read a book. Or challenge yourself to read a book every month if you have time for that. Challenge yourself to maybe walk a little bit further, or just get more steps in general, or to, every day pick an area of your home to clean up if you have trouble keeping things organized. Just find something little like that to change. And then you'll feel that spark and energy of like, okay, it's a new year. It's the same me, but I'm going to make myself even better than I am right now and challenge myself to do this, or shift my mindset, be a little bit more open-minded, or the ability to listen more, even if I don't agree with what they're saying. Just listen and learn and understand people and their point of view. Try something like that. There is no harm in that. And honestly, little challenges like that, especially if you start small and then expand, you can find out if it's for you. And if it wasn't, you're like, okay, well, I'm so glad I didn't change everything, because that would be too overwhelming. That's like, you don't want to like change everything about yourself and then realize you're missing the progress that you're already making, but also feel overwhelmed because there was just too much. You just took on too much, too fast, too quickly. And that leads me to let you know that is what we're talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to talk about go at it with a moderate pace, because I feel like some of us, including me in the past, you just go at New Year's goals and resolutions a little too zealous. So we're going to speak on that. But that is all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. You guys are fantastic, wonderful, amazing. Happy Monday to you all. Thank you so much for listening, sharing, downloading. You're fantastic. I really mean that. Genuinely, I do. And if you want me to tell you directly to you, I encourage you to come visit me on Instagram. If you look in the description box below, there'll be notes for the show, also where to find me on my personal Instagram, which I am popping in every single day, or the show Instagram, which I try to just post a graphic every day of what the episode is in case you want to know, or you forget. If you do send me a message over there, it's likely that I will get it, but probably not till a few days later. If you send me one on my personal, I generally get back to people right away. Also, you can send me an email if you prefer that. If you're not into Instagram, that's totally fine. Send me an email, and you can let me know any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey, hi, and hello to me, because I would love to talk to you. I genuinely would. Whatever you have to say, whatever you need to share with me, whatever you want to suggest and give feedback on, I am open and just happy to chat with you, because I appreciate you guys and you're fantastic. So I really hope this episode wasn't a jumbled mess, but it just goes to show this is me trying to do my best to serve you guys as much as I can. But that's all I have to say for today. And so I hope you join me tomorrow. But until then, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.